in that case.
Let me ask you, in the 1.20, there was a vague suggestion of technology in support of democracy. It's democratizing the world, it's opening up, it's connecting, it's creating all these things. Is there a suggestion in 1.30, knowledge-based thing, that there is going to be knowledge hierarchies, knowledge as a source of control and manipulation, and disappearance of privacy that we talked earlier? So isn't
Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, I've just been concluding some research on the commoditization of privacy and how our media machine appropriates the labor that we do in our leisure time on sites such as Facebook or other social networking sites. This can easily become appropriated by the media machine in order to feed itself. And so the very idea of privacy and leisure is undergoing a change as well. Donald Kerr, several years ago, in fact, made this statement that the notion of privacy has changed. We can no longer get away from this media apparatus. We're pretty much always sutured into it unless we don't exist at all. And this means that, for example, we have several virtual selves out there working for us. Our bank account may be one, our social security account may be another. There's a number of different areas, and this is why identity theft is so devastating to us when it happens in this society. So
I'm thinking more here, less in a Karl Marx sense of appropriation and exploitation, more in the sense of Michel Foucault's concentration of power and control. And all these avenues become avenues of control. There are two very interesting books I want to have your final comments about. One is a book called Spies for Hire. And the book now argues 70% of America's intelligence work is done by private companies, not by FBI or Homeland Security or CIA. Contracted out. And now we combine this fact with what Alvin Toffler has said in Power Shift. He said the best producer of knowledge and information is a modern corporation, not the school, not the university, but the new corporation. Combine the two and you have the results. So the modern corporation has become the information spy of the world, not the information producer, but information spy of the world. How do we look at that fact? What are that's consequences in the future?
Well,
briefly, because I have 60 seconds.
I believe the FBI, farms out its surveillance to
IBM and other companies, large companies,
yes,
to the Western Union.
Yes, and I think surveillance. We've very quickly come to consider surveillance a constant condition, and this relates to the issue of privacy. That we're no longer in a world in which we can retreat and have our privacy. Privacy is shifted in terms of its concept to being a campaign of identity management. And so this is really the context we're in now, is we don't think we're going to get away from it. We need to deal with it and manage our presence.
I think at the same time that people need to be educated about the power of corporations and what they're doing. And people also need to be educated to make choices in their own life about how much and in what ways they choose to have technology involved in their lives so they can cultivate their lives in other ways as well.
As you can see, we just barely explored the surface of technology and its multifarious ramifications, its simultaneity in our lives, and its impact on our ways of thought, even on our brain structure. But this discussion must be continued in many settings, and I hope to bring in people from China, Russia, India, Brazil, Africa, and many other continents and countries to continue this discussion in the future forums of Global Forum. Thank you.